do well.
It's quite the thing.
It is. Hi, I'm Susan McConnell, your LinkedIn for the Reserve champion, and thanks for joining me today. I host a conversation every Tuesday at 12 with different business owners on different topics to light up my network with actionable ways to improve your business so you can be fabulous today. Today, my guest is Sean Crabtree. Sean is the founder of the Crabtree Group. He's a business strategist. I can't even talk today. He is a business strategist, leadership mentor, best-selling author, and speaker specializing in the dental industry for nearly 25 years. His clients, on the whole, average a 49% increase in revenue while working 22% less scheduled days. I am in, Sean. That's awesome. I think I'll be a dentist
Good.
now.
Good afternoon, Susan. Thanks for having me on. How you doing?
Oh, you're so welcome. It's definitely, like you said, it's for dentists, but there's so many other businesses that can work less and have more profit. You know what I mean? It's
Totally. I mean, at the end of the day, business is business, right? It doesn't matter if you're talking about a dental business
yeah,
or if you're talking about a central heating and air or a CPA or a law firm or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, business is business for sure. No doubt about it.
yeah, absolutely. So everybody can get your book and get something out of it, whether they're a dentist or not. How's that?
Oh, that was a shameless plug for my book. Dental Profits, by the way. Thank you.
Yes. And I will put that in the chat. So at the end of the chat, it will be there. And I'll also put your contact info. So
Oh, thank you,
everybody
Susan.
will be able to get you. So question, why is it that dentists consistently have the highest suicidal rates among jobs in the US year after year, which I find interesting?
You know, that is interesting. And I get asked that question a lot, but it is true. Dentists and physicians are normally number one and number two in terms of burnout and suicide. And I think it's a combination of a lot of things, really. I mean, I've been doing this, as you said, for almost 25 years. Um, I think one of the biggest challenges is as a dentist, right? Most dentists are very, high achievers. They're overachievers. They spend a ridiculous amount of time, effort, energy, and money learning to be great at what they do clinically. And there's almost zero education and training on how to be great at the business aspects of dentistry. And this over time creates a tremendous amount of stress. Um, you know, the subject matter of leadership, communication, people management, money management, marketing, sales, all of these things that a business needs to be successful, a lot of times are stressors for general dentists as a whole. And then, of course, you add that to this industry is going through some changes right now. There's a lot of roll-ups. There's a lot of corporate competition. Depending on where you do the search and what the information is, you'll find that somewhere between 25 and 50% of the dental population will be employed by corporate pretty quickly. So there's a lot of pressure. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on that side. And I think one of the other big stressors is over the last probably 10 to 15 years, dentists are having to see more and more patients. So what they do in terms of activity, in terms of production, in terms of work, in terms of hours, if they don't know how to run the business properly, all of that is increased, and yet the revenue has decreased or stayed the same, or in some cases gone below what it used to be, which again is a massive stressor for these guys.
Cool. So obviously they have a ton of stress. So they don't get business education, obviously, in dental school. And that's kind of what you bring to the table, is you bring that education that they probably should have had when they first started their practice, right?
Well, I mean, I think that it's one of the most important things. There's no question about it. It would be like me trying to take my business degree and cut crown preps, all day long. It would be tough, right?
Right.
I can't tell you how many times over the years I've been asked by a dental school to help with their curriculum or create curriculum.
Wow.
And it never materializes. Just like somehow it never materializes, because at the end of the day, the dental schools are really, really focused on the clinical aspects. I think, not to continue down this road, but you were asking about the stressors and the burnout rates and the suicide rates and all that. There was an actual study done by the American Dental Association, released just a couple of years ago. It was a 10-year study that
Yeah.
really proved what we already know. Over the 10 years, I think there was maybe about 11,000 general dentists that they followed, and they reported the median production of a general dental practice from 2010 and the median production of a general dental practice in 2017. The production had grown over that 10-year period in terms of the median general practice by about $160,000. The revenue from 2010 to 2017 had not grown a single penny. So that proves that they're having to see more patients, spend more time, do more work, and yet the revenue is not changed at all.
Huh. That's interesting. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons. It's a good question. Reimbursement. A lot of practitioners will point to insurance reimbursement, which, if you don't understand the concepts of how to be in control of your business, and reimbursement is your only way for growth, then you're going to have to do more, see more, and have work more days and work more hours to be able to make the same money. The interesting thing, though, is if you understand all of the different components of your practice and how to maximize those areas and create systematic approaches, it doesn't have to be the chase for new patients or the insurance reimbursements is the only way to grow the practice.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I find, and so when I think about my dentist who I've spent a slight fortune at, um, price of a car right here. No, but seriously, I was in an accident, so I had to get an implant, and what the hoops that she had to jump through to get quotes and reimbursements and answers, and it's like they spend so much time on that aspect of it.
Oh no, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And those reimbursements are coming down in a lot of cases.
Uh-huh.
And for new dentists, it's a whole different scenario. They're not even under the same sort of umbrella as some of the dentists who've been around for a while. So,
Wow.
it really is pushing dentists to become great at the business aspects of dentistry and not just only being great at the clinical aspects of dentistry. And those that understand that are doing very, very, very well. You mentioned some stats. I think when you introduced me, it's not uncommon for my guys to grow 100% from one year to the next, and it's not uncommon for them to have that kind of growth while they're working fewer days in terms of patient days throughout the year and fewer hours in the day.
Wow.
I have a client right now, as a matter of fact, that I won't say his name because I don't have his permission to do that, but literally these guys have grown $1.3 million in revenue so far in 2021 over 2019. Now it's an even greater growth over 2020, but of course 2020 is like the throwout year because
Oh yeah.
you had the shutdown and all of that, and man, dentistry was right in the crosshairs of all of that stuff. I mean, absolutely in the bullseye.
Yeah, definitely caused a lot of havoc there. What is the one thing he can say that he attributes to helping raise those revenues for him?
He would tell you probably the same thing that I would tell you. The short answer is what I call sincerity, and that encompasses a whole lot of things. But basically, the gist is this: having the people on your team really connected to what it is that they are sincerely trying to accomplish in a given moment versus having them just simply perform tasks or do work. Having everybody on the team really connected to where it is they're trying to go, what it is they're trying to accomplish, and whether or not they're getting there versus doing the work and going to the next thing. Right. So that,
Yeah.
that encompasses getting the people on the same page, everybody understanding where it is they're trying to go, everybody understanding their role, everybody understanding what the role before them, how that supports their role and the role after them, how they can support that role, and everybody coming together on a regular basis and learning what's working and celebrating it and figuring out the things that are not and implementing change.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like kind of what businesses do in general, right?
I mean,
And
it
it's
is, and
time
if you
for a
say it,
dentist to think about it.
if you say it quick, it's not a big thing, right? But
Right.
it takes a
Oh, it
little
is a
while to
big
get
thing.
into place. It's a huge thing.
It's a big thing for companies that have time, and it must be even harder for dentists who are strapped for time to have to step back and
Well,
look at this.
and that's a great point, right? I mean, one of the first things that I would tell you, and this would be like a great takeaway for any business owner who is listening to this, not simply a dentist. The biggest takeaway I could give you is what you just said. It's not about do I have time? It's about prioritizing time in the right place. Everybody has the same amount of time in a given day, right? The best approach is to give the same amount of priority, if not a little more on the front end, to working on the business as you do working in the business. Now, for a dentist, that means prioritizing, coming together with the team, and getting on the same page about where we're trying to be in every nook and cranny of the practice versus simply coming in and doing work on the patients.
Right.
Right. So when you
Yeah.
prioritize being as great at the business as you are being great at the clinical aspects of your outcomes for your patients, this is where everything changes, right? And now all of a sudden, when you start allocating time to working on the business, you find that you don't have to work so hard to create even better results than you were getting when your sole focus is just working on patients all the time.
That's incredible. Good. So interesting. Fine. Very interesting. But what other challenge? I mean, we talked about the challenge of time and revenue. Like, what are some of the other challenges as far as, you talked about the team? Are there any other challenges that they face?
Probably the number. I mean, every dentist, as every small business owner, right? They all want something from their business. They want more time with their family. They want more money. They want both. They want balance. They want to be able to hit the results and work less, whatever it is that they want. I can tell you probably the most important concept that I see as an opportunity universally for a general dentist is the concept of treatment acceptance. You would call that sales, right? It's the same thing, treatment acceptance. The concept of learning how to create value for the work that a patient needs versus simply bringing the patient in, showing them there's a problem, and then trying to talk them into getting it done.
Right.
This is one of the biggest opportunities, again, universally across the board that I see. And that's the whole reason I wrote my book, Dental Profits, because there are lots of things that we do at the Crabtree Group, soup to nuts. And again, the one thing that is universal in terms of opportunity is the idea of treatment acceptance and learning how to be sincere in the process and create a process and have the people on your team understand their role in value creation is probably one of the biggest things. Our guys, by the way, our clientele shoots for a 98% treatment acceptance rate, which, if you're in the dental industry and you're hearing this, you've probably heard some crazy, some people say, oh, you're never going to have more than 30% or whatever like that, which is just all nuts. Every bit of that is just total bovine scatology.
I never would have thought that, actually, when you think about it, because my dentist that I've had for many years, obviously, I think she's a good salesperson. I'm going to tell her next time I see her, because she's, like I said, she has that whole like caring thing going, and so I think that's a good skill. You're right. That whole like,
Absolutely.
we have to solve this for you. Like she definitely has but it's her personality.
You should hug her neck.
Yeah,
You should hug her neck when you see her again.
I'm gonna. She's awesome.
She,
That's interesting, though, that you say that, because I never would have thought that people do not do the treatment that they're supposed to do. I would think, huh?
well, and it's a little deeper than that too. A lot of dentists, because they don't understand the concept of how to create value, the work that they do is what I call fix and repair. So
Oh, okay.
they're only looking for problems, and then they're looking to give a fix or a solution to problems. When you understand the concept of how to create value, finding out what's most important to the patient's heart and the mind, rather than simply finding out what's going on in the mouth, then you have an opportunity to help the patient at a much higher level than simply fix and repair, right? There's cosmetic opportunities and all sorts of things when you really get into that part of the concept. That, that's no different than any other business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like if you think about it, it's identifying the problems and getting those problems to be problems that they feel that they're problems, not that you feel. Like you understand the problem, but it's getting them to see the problem and knowing that
Exactly.
then have it go to like that emotional level that we talk about.
That's a great way to describe it. And the same thing, the same challenge that dentists have, are very equatable to the challenges that every small business owner has, right? If
Yeah.
you are a CPA, then you understand all of the things that go on in terms of accounting. And I don't understand any of that stuff, just like I don't understand what's going on in my car engine. And your patients don't understand what's going on in their mouth. The patient knows, does it hurt or does it not? And if it doesn't hurt, then why do I need it? Right. And so if you don't understand how to create value, then you end up trying to talk the patient into getting this work that they need done, even though it doesn't hurt. A great statistic, by the way. Uh,
Okay.
um, not too long ago, the American Dental Association did a study. These guys are great at studies. They did a study not too long ago that found that, I hope I'm quoting the stat right. I don't have it in front
Yeah,
of
as
me,
long
but
as you're close, we're good.
somewhere around like 82% of the dentistry that is needed by patients in the United States is not felt. In other words, 82% of the dentistry that people need doesn't hurt. And so the patient comes in with this work, 82% of the time, they don't feel pain. And so if the dentist doesn't understand and the team doesn't understand, it's really about the team, not so much about the dentist's role in the process. But if they don't understand how to create value, then again, we're back in that place, right? The patient is like, does it hurt? If it doesn't hurt, then do I really need this? And the next question is, how much does it cost? Right?
Oh yeah.
So there's a clear indication that we don't have value. And what you said is really true. At the end of the day, whether it's purses, whether it's cars, whether it's clothes, shoes, teeth, whatever it is, you and I and all patients make decisions emotionally. And so having the patient make a connection to what it is that they're after emotionally, and then being able to show them what's going on in their mouth, right, is the thing that's going to help them see value. Just like my mechanic, I don't know what's going on under my hood, but I do know that there's some things that I want emotionally from my car being able to start or not start on the way back from the airport at 2 a.m. or whatever the situation is, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's interesting. I never even would have thought that many people have things to do that are not even painful. That's interesting. So, how do you actually go about helping the dentist or their
We
practice, I
create,
should say, right?
yeah. One of the first things we do is help the team. I mean, there are many ways that we interact with our clients, but from a full immersion standpoint, which is, from the global standpoint, in terms of our relationship in a full immersion situation with our clientele, one of the first things we do is find out as much as we can about who it is and how it is and what it is and where it is that the doctor wants to be. And then we find out and when they want to be there. And then we find out as much as we can about where they are currently in every single department and nook and cranny in the practice. And then we help develop strategies so that the team gets behind where it is that they're trying to go. And then we create systematic approaches and strategies so that they can get from where they are to where it is they want to go. And then we interact with them, however that looks, to be able to make sure that those strategies are implemented hourly, daily, weekly, and monthly on a regular basis. And frankly, that's why our results are so good.
Yeah, so you're heavily involved in every little aspect of their business from unlocking the door, I guess.
I mean, heavily, heavily, heavily involved. And as I said, there are many other ways that our patients, that our clientele interacts with us from a full immersion standpoint. That's what we do. Of course, I have a book, and we have video training courses, and we have online courses, and all of those kinds of things as well. But all of them are geared toward the same concept, which is getting the team aligned behind the same common vision, and then having them understand the roles that they play and how what it is that they do sincerely connects to the overall goal that the team is trying to accomplish. By the way, our teams make great bonuses, by the way, too, which is
Oh, I
another
like hearing that.
that's another thing that we
Yeah,
implement. Yes, bonuses
that's
are
great.
cool.
It's a
Bonuses
great
are
way to
always good.
incentivize. Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
So, what
yes.
is one thing you could give a dentist that's listening that once we repost as well to some of the dentists that could immediately or dramatically help their results?
If you go back to the universal opportunity that we talked about a moment ago in terms of treatment acceptance, the one quick tip that will have a bigger impact than anything else is this: change your comprehensive exam to redefine it to include not simply what's going on in the mouth, but redefine the comprehensive examination to include what's going on and what's most important to the patient's mind and the patient's heart, in addition to what's going on in the mouth. And when you fully examine what's most important to the patient emotionally, in terms of their heart and their mind, because that's what's making decisions for the mouth, when you find that information out, then you can show the patient how what it is that's going on in their mouth can get them where it is that they want to go.
So,
That
here,
one little thing can be worth millions of dollars.
that's incredible. So, did I spell this right? So, I wrote this in the chat so people viewing this later on. So, the quick
Awesome.
tip is to change your comprehensive exam to what's going on with the patient in total, their whole
Yeah.
world.
Redefine the comprehensive exam to include not only what's going on in the mouth, but what's most important to the heart and the mind that makes the decisions for the mouth.
Total everyone. That's awesome. What's a great advice? That is
Thank you.
awesome. I was going to ask what your favorite book is, but I think I know what yours is.
Listen, outside of my book, Dental Profits, there are so many great books out there. I think one of my favorites, right now I'm reading, of course, anything by Jocko Willink, I think, is a great book. But right now I'm actually listening to Winning the War in Your Mind
Whoa,
by
that's a
Craig
hard war.
Groeschel. Yeah, Craig Groeschel. That's a really good book. Also, Dental Profits, my book, is a great book as well.
It so
Which, by
is.
the way, is also on Audible as of yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
So they can listen to it in their ears while they're working on somebody. That'd be interesting.
There. Yeah.
Maybe not.
You're gonna get
But
tired of my voice.
I put that in the chat. I put your email in the chat,
Wonderful.
and it's awesome. So thanks for being here with me today, Sean.
Thanks for having me on Dangerous Conversations about Business, Susan. Every
Yes.
week you do a fabulous job of having great guests week in and week out. And I know there's a lot of work that goes on, and maybe a lot of people that are watching this or listening to this don't understand, but there's a tremendous amount of work that you have to do to be able to bring quality guests week after week. You do a great job.
It is, and it's a lot of fun, and I meet a lot of great people, and hopefully we help a lot of the community here on LinkedIn. So everybody needs to make sure they join me every Tuesday at 12 for Dangerous Conversations to help your business move forward. And so we're going to end here today, and everybody have a nice holiday if they don't come on next Tuesday. Oh yeah, no, next Tuesday is the week between Christmas and New Year's. So everybody have a nice holiday.
Merry Christmas. Yes.
Today. Be fabulous and go to your dentist and get every work they ask you to do done.
There you go. Merry Christmas, Susan.